Hey guys. What's up? So, I wanted you to kind of take note of something. That last stream that we just did. Anytime we were on a subject about a certain person, a certain president, there's huge clumps of the stream just missing. Keep note of that. Take note of, like, every time I was about to make a point about something, just a huge chunk of that stream is just kind of gone. Take note of that. Almost like they've been working some sort of scam over the past few years where they can sort of figure out how to remove sections of my stream without any indicator that it's happening. So just take note of that. That every time I was about to mention somebody in that last stream, and I was mentioning him, talking about him, and not in necessarily a good way, but trying to inform with facts and not even necessarily opinions, just facts, information. Just huge sections of the stream are missing. Interesting. So take note of that, please, as we get started. And we have an interesting dynamic going on where we say something sensible, logical, credible, with fact, and that is censored and removed. Interesting, isn't that? Yet there's all this misinformation you can find everywhere. You can find so much. You can find a guy being, just streaming that's trying to debate people that like the current president, yet he's on the other side. He doesn't like him, but he's terrible at debating. And they're promoting the shit out of this. They're promoting the shit out of somebody that's really bad at debating on this side of things conveniently, all while I'm sitting here and I have actually reasonable, factual things to say, and then conveniently they start removing huge sections. Before, like I said, what they would do is send, like, nasty, malicious bots, or, like, just people would come in my chat and just say nasty, malicious things and stuff. But people started catching on that they weren't real people, that it was just like an entity, just an anomaly, sort of kind of just doing this. I think people rationalized it was probably scammers. Sometimes maybe. But what you have to rationalize too is that this current president's federal government is full of criminals. And the way that they govern isn't normal. It's literally just to shut people up that try to talk about the things they're doing that are criminal. Like all the insider trading that's going on. You know that, like that whole like birthright citizenship and stuff like that? Aren't there people in Trump's family that would affect? Like, regardless, the point is, if you watch that last stream, anytime we were about to make a point, like where I sat here and I said, Trump is basically like, like there's a huge section of the stream missing. And specifically when I made reference to the analogy about the fact that he's always done these things where he packages a bill like the big beautiful bill that isn't so beautiful. He calls it a tax cut when really it's just going to increase your taxes over time. And that's all he did in 2017 too. With that bill he signed and called a tax cut, but then you thought it was a tax cut because it was initially slightly to trick you. So that way when Biden was in office, because when Biden was in office, it was still Trump's tax cut. Conveniently, this whole clump is missing from the previous stream and like other things I said too. This is the point, is like I give you factual information and they try to cut this out and detrend it and try to get people to not hear actual like factual information. The point is that tax plan that raised your taxes, Trump already did that. He's doing it again. And he's just like trying to like, he literally cut taxes in this for rich people again. Which eventually what it will do is, again, if you keep doing this, all this does is capitalism takes over. Where there's no middle class anymore. There's no in between, nobody, that's it. You're either rich or you're not. And that's arguably already sort of kind of happening a little bit here and there. And so we've seen evidence of this, we know it's happening, and the point is, even as I'm calling this out, we can see evidence of people screwing around with what I'm trying to say. We've seen that all along. Harassment, stalking, and as just downright the fact that people cannot, they will actually go out of their way to physically harm or try to physically stop somebody from talking bad about Trump, even if it's correct, even if it is literally truth. It doesn't matter to them. It's like Nazism. And this is why I've talked about this, is why other people have said that too. It's a cult. There's no difference between you and exactly what the Nazis did with Hitler. And that's where that leads. That's the point. You have to rationalize like what you're doing with that. There's no checks and balances with somebody that leads that way. This is why I presented myself to you as somebody that can call out and point out my own weaknesses. And I've said this at various times where I'm like kind of harsh on myself at times and stuff like that. That was to give you an example of what we should all be doing. So that way we as a race can notice our own flaws and fix them. Now I also educated you guys on the anomaly a little bit and talked a little bit about that. We had some interference conveniently starting around there, but not ending there. And that's certainly not the only interference that we've had from that type of thing. So a good portion of what I said from that stream was just missing. Fascinating, isn't it? And this is information you can find on YouTube. Yeah, it's just right there for you to find. So why are we trying to remove it from the streamers that are talking about this and want to have their own weigh in on this and stuff like that? Why are we, well, because we're in denial, or we're either that entity and we know it, so we're trying to prevent that information from leaking out. Because just like these other guys that talked about it there, even they expressed that they experienced stalking, harassment, and all kinds of retaliation at various times. They talked about how they saw evidence of that too. Not necessarily personally, but just experienced the seeing evidence of it, I guess I should say. So, this is not any one situation. This is all of us. This is everybody in the same situation that we're in. And probably some people have noticed this maybe a little bit too with other various things that they couldn't explain. Yeah, maybe they did everything that they're supposed to do and still they couldn't explain it. Maybe that whole thing where like you do everything right. You know, like it's a good expression. I love Picard's saying, sometimes in life you do everything right and still lose. I love that. He says that to Data. Because that is absolutely human. But the point is, if that starts to become too much, where there's a pattern, something's going on. Somebody's screwing with you. I mean, like at a certain point, you have your own wits about you too. And that also makes us human. And that's a solid point. That other people have also noticed these things too and been calling them out too. And again, this very reputable source now backing it. You know, military guys. They got no time for bullshit. And are going to huge personal great risk to get this information out. Fascinating stuff. Kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it? Should. I just, wow. That apparent. And then the fascinating thing is, all around this too, like you can also see other people that not just people that are, you know, fascinated with science or philosophy or just talking about the stuff, but people that really that's not what they're after. That's not what they're looking for. They're not looking for a conversation. They're looking for, this is happening. We're worried China knows. And we're worried for, you know, again, obviously national security. And yeah, awareness is key. Obviously you don't want to say too much, but as I stated, a lot of what I said was out of that thing that they were looping on a live stream. And at any point in time, anybody could have clipped that, taken that, seen that. Plenty of people did already. So sitting here momentarily causing some, you know, the point is, the way that looks to me is it looks exactly like, as I trace it back now and I think in my head, yeah, it's basically like this concept of do this and see what happens, where it wouldn't make any sense any other way. You know, like testing the water sort of thing. Do this and see what happens. And like I said, this knowledge of this for decades. Real buried government projects where, like, these people are absolutely going to be tasked with putting pressure on people that talk about certain things. And you can be sure, absolutely, that they don't care. Imagine having government funding to be able to do that. You mean like you're paying them, you're paying taxes, and this is what the feds do. Harass citizens. Meanwhile, you have those bipartisan members of Congress meeting and stuff like that, showing who they are, showing exactly what they do, and all you have to do is watch and pay attention. They're your representatives. They are asking questions. They are caring. They are giving a shit. They want you to know. It's the evil people that are trying to take over the dome. They're trying to take away your freedoms, man. Hello. If you follow what's happening, very, very slowly but surely, they're removing freedom of the press. But they're trying to do it with right under your nose. Censoring things that they don't have any business censoring. Giving Trump the power of a king. If they just immediately try to amend the Constitution, you're going to realize it. You're going to be like, whoa, hold up. But if they slowly but surely, right out from under your nose, kind of like this beautiful bill that was a tie, and Vance was there to break the tie. And he didn't look surprised by it either. Like, almost like they knew exactly the votes they were going to get. He broke the tie. Now this bill, it's got a lot of stuff in it. A lot of stuff that is very bad for the American people. It's exactly like the same tax cut bill that it wasn't a tax cut before that Trump did back in, I think, 2017. That everybody blamed on Biden, but it was really just Trump's tax plan. And Biden actually did things to stimulate the economy. But again, it's Trump's tax plan. So the point is that increased it, and now he's trying to do it again. And he's just selling it to you like, hey, it's a tax cut. No, it's not. It's like when they signed the executive orders and they held them up. And you like actually believe. I remember seeing in the chat everybody say this is the most transparent an administration there's ever been, and they immediately knew how quickly they were fooling everybody. Are you kidding me? You really think sitting there signing executive orders and then just saying that they're this or that is constitutes evidence of them not lying? No. Right on their own website, they lie. This is right on brand for them. No other administration has used WhiteHouse.gov as like a lying base. Like, you can sit there and fact check that shit, and it's just lie after fucking lie after. In Biden, in an Obama term, you look up that website, factual information just tells you everything they're doing and stuff like that. You can fact check it, and it checks out. Trump, no. It's just complete nonsense. It's literal just lies. The whole thing is just complete lies. And the point is, it's not a democratic agenda. I'm the one sitting here telling you, just like the other Democrats are telling you, that no, they're trying to work with Republicans. I'd love to see a good Republican candidate. Republicans don't have anything to do with conservatism anymore. What's conservative about lying about a tax cut and then actually cutting taxes for the wealthy? What's conservative about that? What's conservative about, well, basically anything Trump does? Literally. I'm actually genuinely want to know what you think is conservative about Donald Trump. Because there's nothing conservative about it. He doesn't conserve what? Money, maybe? No, he spends a lot of that. What's conservative about him? He dropped the F-bomb. He's the first president I know of to drop the F-bomb. We all know I'm not particularly conservative about certain things, but ethics, yeah. And that's the point. Nobody actually thinks that. Think about the ethics of conservatism and what it actually means. Nobody that's a Republican is conservative anymore. Nobody. And that's the point. The Democrats have been successful proving that they're the conservative ones. That's how they've done it. Clinton balanced the budget. He paved the way for Democrats to be successful. They just pissed off the Republicans, so all they did was declare war instead of actually helping things. Sort of kind of like the American people are doing on each other. And thus you see the effect it has. It's like built into the education, where they defund your education and people actually see the generational change. You actually see it. It's like, geez. And then Trump just made it go away entirely, where now you're responsible for that. Oh, and by the way, you're going to be poor too. You're going to be like you're going to be broke too. It's just take all of your money. You think that's conservative? To give tax cuts to the rich people? I don't know how that's conservative. I'm being honest with you. It's just not. And what you have to realize is like just the sheer amount of times he's lied. Stuff like nothing about this is conservative. Overturning Roe versus Wade, none of this stuff is conservative. No, having that. Like the point is you regulate it. That's conservatism. Because then you're safe. You can have your basic freedoms because you have regulation and restriction. Because then the jackass that wants to act like a jackass can't do too much of that inflicts upon you. So now it impedes upon you or has some sort of effect on your daily life. Just like the person that's out on here doing something they did for an entire year that Google just kind of allowed to happen. Like you see the evidence. Like literally you see the evidence of people like feeling so full of themselves that just break the law left and right. You're just like the storming of the Capitol and stuff like that, like things that we would normally condemn and stuff like, and we understand, we're educated to understand as why we do this and why we want it this way. And yet, you just have all these people that just want to just because, well, you're supposed to be free, right? So therefore, just because. But then at the same time, if they did those jobs, wouldn't they expect the same courtesy? If all you were in Congress that day and we didn't like what happened, and then Joe Biden took out ads that were fake that said stop the steal even though Trump won the election, and then you're sitting there trying to count votes, and instead it's now all the Democrats storming the Capitol trying to harm people and maybe even succeeding at it, breaking stuff, violating the law. Now suddenly you understand, oh, now that you're on the other end of that, now you want to do something about it. You want to call everybody. You want to be like, stop, because you want to be civilized and you want your candidate to have won. Well, that's the point. Stop trying to win at every little tiny thing in some little fashion. This is the issue. The issue is that, like, memes took people's minds over. It's true. Memes are mind control. Like, everybody wants to live in that Charlie Sheen winning meme. I have news for you. Charlie Sheen, he didn't win. I think he'll tell you that, too. There was a huge period of time in Charlie Sheen's life where he dealt with some shit. And by the time he did 2.5 Men, I think he was like 50. You have to understand, that guy was a big actor in the frickin' 90s. Yeah. All right, we're trying to cut huge sections of the stream out. Now there's interference. We have the interference. The interference is back. Yeah. And the government's doing it. The federal government's doing it. They are mind controlling people to be dumber with memes. And this is what they don't want you to know. They're doing it on Facebook, they're doing it on everything. They're mind controlling you to be dumber. And they're doing it, like I said, the education, but they're doing it with social media and memes. The whole point is that, again, as I said, Charlie Sheen wasn't always winning. He was like 50 by the time he did 2.5 Men. That guy went through some shit. He was a big actor in the 90s. He had a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff happened to him. He went through some stuff, man. He didn't have the greatest... A lot of actors haven't. And that's always been their message. Their message is, don't do this. Like, unless this is your calling, don't. Like, it's just like anything else that like, you think... Just like the Piano Man song. I'm sure that I could be a movie star if I could just get out of this place. Well, the reality is, like, there's a lot of guys that think that. But no, they were living the dream when they had their bar for that scenario, or whatever it is that they have. The whole point is that they think they want these things, so they go after them. But really, they were just missing something simpler. And they're just confusing it with all these commercialized things, like a Hallmark card or something like that. Because, unfortunately, salesmen are too good at that. And it just confuses people. And truthfully, it's advertising. It's all advertising. And YouTube knows it. They do not want you to realize that people are really screwed up because of ads. And brainwashed. It's all advertising. So anyway, there's reasons for ads and good reasons for ads. I'm not talking about straightforward ones. I'm not talking about 8 billion other ones that you're not supposed to see that get rammed down your throat anyway. I'm talking about like purposeful ones that you could use, or that also serve a purpose to the thing that you're, like, let's say, like, a content creator sits there and they have like a little bit of an ad, sponsored ad in their thing, and they talk a little bit about a product or something they're trying to promote and stuff because it's a sponsored stream. That's great. Like, that's the whole point, is like, a lot of the time they're going to use a product or sponsored product that fits with their demographic, their audience, and stuff like that anyway. And so it just makes sense. Anymore, there's just too much nonsense. And there's too many scammers and too many illegitimate ads that are legitimate, if that makes sense. And you have a lot of non-regulation happening because of Trump. Because during the Biden days, all he could do in office was spend time, like, really trying to make sure we didn't have a depression. And I'm actually surprised that we didn't. It was really bad. And he actually did some things to improve the economy and stuff like that. And Trump came into office at a much better position than he's even in now. Way, way better position than he's even in now. And with this bill, forget about it. This will just destroy. Probably destroy us. It might. I know we keep saying that, but you keep adding to the debt. I mean, like, how much do you think you could just add? It's going to add apparently between $3 to $4 trillion. Like, how much do you think, ballpark, you should add to the debt already? It's already there. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we had a lot of interference. And a lot of stuff was like completely removed. But yeah, like I said before, I mean, he is the bad guy in the comics. He really is. You know, if there's a bad guy in the comics or in the cartoons or whatever, and they're doing shit that Trump does, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's the point. Like, he's always done these things. He's always been like this. You know, just like I was saying, you know, like a while back. Like, that's the point. Like, he's always done these things. You know, I gave you specific examples, and again, we had audio just completely missing. Fascinating stuff, isn't it? How when talk about certain things, audio just and again, just sections of the stream in general just vanish. It's funny how you know that can just happen, isn't it? So I was talking about how Trump had a scam where he convinced a bunch of people, or he was starting a university, and people bought into that. Yep, and then they sued him. Yep. And I think somebody actually won. Because the point is, yeah, he lied, told a bunch of people to start a university, and then just didn't. And they paid all this money to him and stuff like that because, you know, they wanted to learn from him. I was telling you all about that in that last stream. All that audio, just like huge sections of the stream are just missing conveniently. Interesting, isn't it? I think it's pretty interesting. It's pretty obvious. You know, like you can see what's going on here. And like I said, in you know, the worlds that we grew up with, you know, like cartoons, comics, whatever, you know, like whatever it is you individually grew up with, you know, like all these different things that taught us, you know, this is the bad guy. You know, like if there was a guy in the comics who, you know, he was slowly taking over like the democracy and trying to change it to where he could just change everything and be super rich and make everybody poor and stuff like that. That would be an evil bad guy in the comics, you know? And that's exactly what's happening. You know, like the whole point is like if you did that, you know, you like that's the point. That's what Trump's doing. And, you know, he has these things calling tax cuts when they're not tax cuts, like the complete opposite. And it's the sort of, it's exactly what, you know, he's just fooling all of the people that don't know much about politics. And, you know, like you might know a lot about, you know, like one thing or another, but, you know, like the whole point is that you don't want to seem like you don't know a lot about politics, but honestly, you know, like the whole point is that you're just picking this guy. and he's hurting you in the long run, because the whole point is, those of us who do, we can just spot it a mile away because we've seen it a million times. That's all. And so because we're willing to accept new information and change our minds, like about things and stuff like that. You want to listen to somebody that's able to do that, because it's the ability to accept, fact over what you already thought was true, regardless of whether you were wrong before. And so the whole point is, if somebody's doing this in the comics and trying to convince like all of Gotham or something like that like all these people were bad, or like something like that, trying to force people out, that sort of thing, and then meanwhile lying, saying he's cutting taxes, but really he's gonna charge you more money in the long run, and those tariffs too, and then meanwhile he calls it a tax cut. When the Democrat comes in office, you're going to blame that Democrat, because that's when it's going to really start going up, because that's what he did the first time too. And the whole point is, if like this really happened in the comics, yeah, like that's the point. Like Batman would be like, not in my town, not here, like he'd come in and with his Batman voice and save the day. He'd be like, get out of here. Be like, you're evil. You're trying to take over this whole place, which is what Trump's doing. Again, for the first time in history, a convict enters the office. For the first time in history, he has the power of a king. The power to disobey the courts, that sort of thing. For the first time in history, the president drops the F-bomb. I don't care about that. But rationalize why he did it and when he did it. Meanwhile, he caused that situation. The situation he's dropping the F-bomb about is conveniently the situation he caused. And he knows it. Because of the whole Iran nuclear deal, all that stuff. But that's why this war is happening. Because of Donald Trump. And now he's trying to say that, they need the thing that he got rid of in the first place. This is the whole point. This is what he does. He scams you. He literally is just like, this is a problem. Even though it isn't. Even though it's not that big of a problem, it's a little bit of one. There's already things in place. And he just balloons it. He just says it's a huge problem. So then it becomes a big problem. Because that's what the internet does when you say things. Oh, there's a problem? Oh my god! That's it. That's it. He's got however many followers, however many people. He's a billionaire. That's the point. So people just hang on to what he says. Just like what I told you guys when I revealed to you guys a while back. I said, and I think people didn't realize this. The whole reason why Trump moved the stock market the way he did in the first time, a lot of time, the reason why that happened was because, again, he was a billionaire tweeting. So Trump could move the stock market just because people were oblivious to the fact that a billionaire tweeting is a billionaire tweeting. Everybody's going to go buy that thing or do that thing. So people started realizing just the sheer amount of insider trading that was going on, like where it was like kind of obvious what he was doing to somebody that knows how to analyze that stuff and look at it, but to anybody else, they're just like, obviously they're not going to see that. So, and like like the whole thing where like the insider trading thing where he said he was going to do the tariffs. He said he was going to do the tariffs. He said he was going to do the tariffs. And then he was gonna, and then he put a hold on him, and he was like, go buy this because we're putting a hold on the tariff. It's gonna go up. This is literally insider trading. It's inside or not. It's literally what it is. And so like because he has the power of a king, because he gave that to himself, he can't. Like that's the point. That's why for the first time in history a convict enters the office, yada yada yada, you get the picture. So like if you follow this back and you connect the dots, what it looks like he did, as at the beginning, he was going bankrupt. He might even have to face some penalties and stuff like that because of some of the scams and stuff he's been running over the years, because now his taxes are under scrutiny. So what is he gonna do? Well, let's try to, like, I don't know, let's just try to boost the image, you know, like the recommendation, you know, is probably just that he runs for president, you know, like try to sell a book or promote his brand or something like that because he was going bankrupt. And when you look it up, he hired all those people the day he came down the escalator and stuff like that. Those were hired paid actors. He wasn't running for president. The day he announced he was running for president, it was all fake. He actually booked some rallies to go along with it to make it seem like a legit scam, so that way he could fool, you know, that way like any feds or anybody looks into this, it seems legit. To him, that's chump change. It doesn't cost hardly anything for him. He's rich. You know, that's nothing. So he did that, and then it's kind of obvious that like, you know, as you know, he just loves attention. So since it got him more attention and got him more notice, yeah, he just stuck with it, I think, and you know, like it's the sort of thing where like I think he just like didn't want to back down from it and stuff like that, even though he didn't really have any plans on doing it. Probably didn't even think he could do a very good job. He just, you know, that whole pride thing, and had been talking crap on Obama this whole time and stuff, and all these tweets and stuff like that. And so, like, the point is, then he goes into office and he starts taking credit for things that Obama actually did that helped the country. And so, like, that's the point. And, like, a lot of the stuff that he sits here and he tries to take credit for is actually stuff that Obama and stuff that Biden did, even during Biden's term in office. But truthfully, like, yeah, like, even, like I said, remember the ceasefire? Biden signed a ceasefire. And then as Trump won the election and was president-elect, he sat there and tried to take credit for that ceasefire that Biden actually did. It's like, what? You just became president-elect. How would you have organized a ceasefire? He didn't. It had nothing to do with it. Again, Biden had done that like way back in, like, I think it was like March of that year or something like that. It was like ridiculously like planned out. Hey there. So as you can see, we have some pretty serious interference. So, for how long were we talking about a certain individual? So for how long were we talking about a certain individual? Now remember, we've had some pretty serious interference. Remember what I told you though. I told you somebody is screwing around with us. And somebody is harassing and attacking my family. So let me just tell you what happened. And what has been happening. Somebody at the power company is turning our power off intermittently to cause problems. And also maxing the load on purpose. That's right. MAGA terrorists work at your power company. And this is what this person's been doing. We've been documenting. We've made sure that we've been telling everybody we can. what just happened, and what happened in the last stream, was that all that somebody did was turned off our power for literally like 5-10 seconds. Then turned it back on. Somebody's been doing this pretty aggressively and intentionally maxing the load for our house. Literally just sending too much. Intentionally maxing that load. And, like I said, cycling the power off randomly for just fucking 5 to 10 seconds at a time. Just like they did earlier in that last stream. Fascinating stuff. And then you start realizing, huh. So, these assholes actually have people working regular jobs. This is why nobody can find a job. They have undercovers taking all the good jobs. Getting paid, too, probably. Wow. There are no conspiracies here. This is all literally just stuff that's been happening. That I've been documenting and proving. That's all that's happening. And again, like I said, we've seen the evidence. We've seen the evidence of literally maxing the load on purpose. And we've seen evidence of, like I said, the tampering, where it's just on-off for absolutely no reason. So, yeah, don't you worry. We've been documenting all this. And other people are starting to become aware of what you've been doing. Because, like, other experts are seeing it, too, and they're going, like, what the f*** is that? Like, well, how? Yeah. Except, unless I tell you that, then it's like, oh, well, yeah, I guess. Yeah. Suddenly that makes sense, doesn't it? Yep. And just think about how many times somebody like that could climb a pole, get up there and just fuck around with the power lines, listen to a phone conversation. Now, I want you to keep something in mind. Do you remember how YouTube just randomly ended my stream the other night after 13 minutes? Do you remember that? Actually, that wasn't even the other night, that was the last night. Do you remember that? After 13 minutes, YouTube just abruptly ended my stream. Well, the power went out in my house for literally fucking 5 to 10 seconds. And as you can see, there's clearly nothing wrong with the stream. Yep, that's right. And, this is kind of the point. And like I said, there's been plenty of times where I've suspended the stream for, hours. So what? I come back to the stream later, so what? And it works just fine. So what? Meanwhile, 13 minutes into my stream last night, YouTube just ends the stream. Interesting, isn't it? And then my viewers get a broken experience where there's no continual You're like, oh, we picked up from here last time and stuff like, no, you just get a broken experience, just like the scammer wants you to have. Just like the same pattern of behavior we've seen out of the stalker that has been creating problems for my channel, where it causes segments and stuff like that. You know, the shifting of the rate, the reactions, you know, doing something for a reaction, that sort of thing. You know, like where essentially it would just cause that issue where it has to be segmented and you don't get, you know, whatever content I'm delivering that I'm supposed to be delivering in that stream. Thus, again, tricking their system to flag it incorrectly. It's just any little tiny minuscule way that scammer can do that. It reminds me of exactly the behavior in Office right now. Exactly, you know, the behavior of somebody that sits here and knows what the problems are, is briefed on the problems. There's plenty of people he could hire for a job that are smart, that can do that job, and he knows that. Overheating. Yeah, they're sitting here trying to overheat the device. So interference. Well, wait, you just interfering with the stream to try to break it up. The stream cut out. So pieces, segments are missing, just like the last stream. The point is that they've been doing this for a long time. Yep. I've been doing this a long time. A long time. Yep. We're just breaking the stream up. Trying to segment it, remove huge sections of it again. Cause a problem for the device, that sort of thing. We know that. There's plenty of smart people to do those jobs. And he knows that. He intentionally hires people that aren't going to be good at those jobs. Yep. In comparison, it makes him look better. Because then he can fire them when they're bad at the job, replace them with somebody not really better, but that he can sit there and dictate more so it looks like he fixed something. You get what I'm saying? So like the first people that he hires, that he puts in office and stuff like that, he doesn't actually plan on having them do the jobs. He wants them to fail. That's why he hires them. That's why he doesn't hire people that are like good at it, because they'll have a hard time proving they're not good at it. So he intentionally hires all these people that are really bad at the jobs, like Fox News anchors and stuff, don't know anything about politics, don't know anything about running the country. And thus creates a situation where, like, consistently, people are really bad at these jobs. He doesn't do anything, he doesn't help them. They're just bad at the job. Then, later on, people bitch about this, people bitch about this, people bitch about this. So then he goes, all right, you're fired. And then he sits here and he like dictates something to the new person, and they sort of fix a little bit of something that makes it seem like they're doing it better, but really they're just This next person is just lying better than the first one. That's it. That's all that happens. So all he ends up doing is figuring out how to lie better about not doing anything. So basically, his position as president is to sort of kind of do nothing, while Russia, China, and all these other people spy on us from within too. We have evidence of that, and you know, like elsewhere too. But I mean, Trump literally appointed the guy from Russia, the CEO of ExxonMobil, as his Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, one of the two. Like what? The guy that worked with Putin? Oh, right. He said he was cutting ties with Russia. Right. Okay. Right. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's the guy that he hired? That's so weird. And then, like, you research his other cabinet members that he first hired too. You find out other weird things like that too. This is the same family that started making it legal to transport animal body parts back to our country. Remember when Obama made it illegal for trophy hunting? This is the same family that started re-legalizing trophy hunting so that they could start bringing, like, you know, elephant tusks home and stuff like that. Yet Trump's family are trophy hunters. These are the people that you elected. They're trophy hunters. Like not like there's nothing. There's just sport in that. You have to understand trophy. That's disgusting. Yep. That is, you know, basically a dominant species in the sense where we know we can easily, with our brains, intelligently, no problem, with a gun, take down a large animal, but again, one that's going extinct or endangered. What the fuck? And then these people take their heads and stuff and their skin and take them back and make rugs out of them and put them on the wall. This is what we're talking about. These people. That's Trump's family. Yeah, look it up, seriously. You might have to dig a little bit, but you'll find it. They tried to bury that one too, just like they tried to bury the you know, Don Jr.'s fake charity art thing where they auctioned art for charity, but it wasn't really charity. It was just a bank account in Don Jr.'s name, and he pocketed all of it. And all these artists submitted art for to be used for charity. So this is them. This is the point. Like the point is, like, that's not somebody that should be, like, what? You see what I'm saying? This is a guy that cheats at golf. Yeah, Donald Trump cheats at golf. He can't even be satisfied with his own shitty fucking golf swing. Yep. He even cheats at golf. This is why he has his own golf resorts, by the way. That's why. Yeah, because, you know, like, he's just gonna win at those. He'll just have his guys call it in his favor. Like, it's just like Elon with the voting machines. That's suspicious as hell. No, I mean, what I am going to say is good on him for calling him out at this point, but it's a shame that that had to happen at all. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous to see all the interference. I think that, just escalating, and it's not related. To actually think that, to see it's escalating, to see it's just think it's not related. All while the other things are escalating in kind, like just along with it. My knots. My head to the scab. Oh yeah, I must have scratched my forehead. I was like, what's on my head? I moved the beanbag chair. I moved to like the other chair. I just like sat it on the chair because I'm standing here, and she just crawls right into it anyway. It's fun. I need a drink. Right back. So, let me also say that this company has a history of, after reporting the outage, them taking for fucking ever. And I remember It was happening a lot. It was starting to happen to the point where it was like every day. And it was just like constant. And so eventually I got sick of it. And they made it very difficult. Our power company, they made it very difficult to get in touch with them. Like almost nearly dead on impossible to get in touch with a real person. And so the point is, nothing's done. You report it, and it gets worse. You want to talk to somebody. So I start telling people about this. I make people aware of this. And other people start joining in. They're like, you know what? Yeah, us too. And all around this happening, all of a sudden, for the next, like, I don't even know how long, I guess it was this guy. For like, I don't even know how long, for the next, I don't even know how long, the response got better, but I also noticed that it almost seemed like the power was kind of going off just randomly again, almost like they were trying to figure out if they had really fixed it, like just intentionally turning it off, you know, just to turn it back on. And this is what I noticed. Where it got better after reporting that and stuff, and actually making sure that real people followed up on that, and that it was known that this was an issue, and it got a lot better. But then they raised the rates like 2 freaking times within like a year. And after doing that, then now they're creating a scam where they're trying to get you to go through a second party, like a third. It's a third party, but another company for your energy. So they bill you, and the other company bills. It's a scam. It's literally a fucking scam. And the only reason they're doing that is with you know, the point that their resources are capped and stuff like that, and that more people need to go solar or whatever. Maybe if Donald fucking piece of shit Trump wouldn't constantly do things to make solar more expensive like he's going to do with this bill, people could actually afford it. So you have constantly issues where well, I have constantly issues, but I also know that other people, after dealing with that, have had these issues too, where it's off and then on again 10 minutes later. Prior to this incident where I reported it and all that was happening and all that, this never really happened. Now, the power wouldn't go off for fucking 10 minutes. Now, it goes off for fucking 10 minutes or 10 seconds or whatever, almost like it's the amount of time that it would take for you to report it, just so they can turn it back on again. Almost like they're trying to cover their tracks and get somebody else that may have investigated them for fraud to think that they're fixing it, when really all they're doing is exactly what fucking Donald Trump does. Shuts it off just to turn it back on 10 minutes fucking later and be like, look, we fixed it. See, we brought it back in 10 minutes. But you shut it off. It didn't go off. Nothing happened. You shut it off. Now, when it goes off legitimately, now I want to see you fix it. And then I want to see it come back on in fucking 10 seconds. Unlike the fucking bullshit that happened literally today, twice. Yeah, twice in one day for fucking 10 seconds. The entire goddamn house. And you're charging somebody that much per month? Yeah, I call it fucking fraud. I call it scam. Just like all the other fucking shit that's going on. Where somebody's using too much cell phone data. Intentionally drawing too much data. Don't worry, that's coming. When should we do the content for that? Should we do it tonight? I should do that, shouldn't I? Just like all these other things where it's intentionally causing something to draw too much. Just like that. Just like every other example that I've ever given you. Where this one scam is conveniently following me around. It's fascinating, isn't it? Let me also tell you that between yesterday and today, I got some of the dumbest phishing scams. The easiest to spot dumbest phishing scams I think I have ever seen. Yeah, seriously, Luke. Here, hold on. Randomly, just like earlier today, I got a phishing scam comment from some scammer that made their YouTube account today, in a comment on that last stream, and then I got another guy in chat the one time trying to get me to message him on Discord because he had some tips. Don't know the guy, never talked to him, just randomly came in chat asking me to message him on Discord for tips on how to grow my channel. Just things normal people wouldn't do, Again, all around, the other two very obvious phishing scams that I get in a row last night and today. So, Harada? Is that how you say your name? Harada Jusaburo? However the f*** you say your name? No, I don't want whatever fucking malicious PDF file you tried to send me in an attachment from whatever weird-ass email has a bunch of fucking numbers before the @ symbol. Yeah, like, what a genius. Let me tell you what. Yeah. Yeah, your fucking email address is literally just a bunch of fucking @ symbols. Or a bunch of fucking numbers before the @ symbol, I should say. What a genius. Let me tell you what. Wow. Genius. Brilliant. Yeah, I didn't know immediately. Totally. I had no idea. Same dude. He sent me again. Don't even open it. If you're in question, don't even open it. But it literally said it was from like 6875231. Like, it was just like ridiculously stupid long number at something.com. I'm like, oh. Like, just a PDF file. I'm like, what's the subject say? It says like it says GLK order report. Maybe I don't even know what GLK is. I'm sure they're probably trying to like trick me into thinking it's like something I ordered or something like that. I don't even know what fucking GLK is. So like, this is the point. Whoever this is a fucking idiot. And they're trying to get me with some dumbass scam because they were like in my stream, last night or something like that when I was streaming one of those streams or whatever. That's it. Like, that's all that is. And you see how quickly they can get your email and just email you. Like, that's the point. Because he was sending, he created 2 different YouTube accounts and tried to get me to click some link on the comment. Tried to get me to, like, talk to him and, like, you know what I mean? Like, he literally did that. It's just obviously the same guy. He's, like, being really aggressively harassing about it. He sent a couple of email messages. He's been showing up on the streams to comment. And so, like, that's the point. Like, he's trying to get me to accidentally, again, click something or something like that. And it's through your data, too. So no doubt he has trackers on Facebook. So, like if I would be like scrolling or something like that, which you have to realize. So see, there it is. See, look at chat right now. Look at chat. See how they just come out of nowhere? See that? That's when you know. That's when you know I'm calling them out, and they're like scrambling, like, oh my god. He's telling them about our scams and telling them about the GLK and stuff like that. They're gonna know. You see this? How they, like, this is what I always told you guys. Like, they just, as soon as I'm on to something, they just show up to be malicious. And, like, not a normal message too, just like something fucking weird, you know. So anyway, the point is don't fall. Like, this is the easiest to spot scams in the world. Don't fall for that shit. Again, like, if you see an email like that, first of all, don't even open it. But secondly, definitely don't click any links. Don't download anything. That is malicious. And like I was about to say, it's even in your data. You have trackers and cookies, so that way, again, if you're like scrolling through Facebook or something like that, you get like a fake ad. Now, it's not fake because they already have data brokers to take out ads on Facebook, and they have your data. So it's not really fake, but the scammers are the data broker. So now they can get you to click that ad, and it can be as malicious as they want. But the point is, they can't have it open like some virus, site anymore that brings up They can't do that. Because if they do that, the feds are all over them instantly. They just can't do it anymore. So, now, it actually brings up the legit site. But while doing it, it just literally installs some malicious tool that starts tracking and learning everything about you. It's AI-based hacks where they're using a botnet network to maliciously install a little thing in your system where all it's doing is learning everything about you and giving it to them. And it can be there because it masks itself as like a tracker or a cookie or something that's allowed to be there through YouTube's system, through Google, because Google is so integrated. So with me, it's YouTube. With you guys that game a lot, it's Discord. If you're on TikTok, it's TikTok. Likewise with anything that has a lot of trackers and cookies and stuff like that collects your data. Which is why it's nice that other countries, at least, not everybody is a victim, because some other countries do have restrictions, and you can literally just say, no, I do not consent. In this country, you can't do it. Isn't that criminal? In the land of the free, in the home of the brave, supposedly, you can't decline. You must consent. If they want you to consent, they want you to use it. If you need to use their app and you want to use their app, they can say, well, you don't have any business using our app then if you don't accept our fucking weird ass invasive cookies and trackers that learn all your information. We're allowed to prevent you from using it. Vincent. So that's what I want you guys to realize is like this is what they're doing is it's like legit, but not. Pretty crazy, if you ask me. Pretty crazy, right? It'll happen to you too if you get messed up teeth. I just need to get them fixed. It'd be nice. So my singing voice changed to your teeth. When you emit sound from your mouth. A lot of it has to do. See, now we have interference again. Now they're just cutting it out again. They're just cutting out a huge section of the stream. Probably, just like before. As soon as I get on a subject, you know, like maybe the stream is trending and there'd be people in here just cutting huge sections out. Yep. They're just breaking up the stream. Like they were in that last one. That's why I encourage you to see just how often it happened in that last one where we were talking about conveniently pretty serious political subjects and just huge sections just missing. Gee, I thought we had freedom of speech in this country. Interesting, isn't it? Anyway, so to get my teeth fixed is what I was going to say is a lot of the way you sing when you emit audio from your mouth, sound from your mouth, you know, a lot of your teeth, the way your teeth are, you know, the way the audio sound goes around in your mouth, it's going to sound like the inside of your mouth because that's where the sound is coming from. So like if you have like your teeth don't make a dam anymore, you know, just like when you go to drink something, yeah, it's not like you go to drink it, it just like runs into the front instead of getting stuck. There's no dam. There's a dam basically like with your teeth, or it would normally trap it behind. Doesn't do that anymore. And so, like, it's the same sort of thing again with like singing and stuff. If there's less of them in there, for sure, again, you have less of that sound to go with that particular type of tone and stuff like that. So it's gonna come more from the deep part and stuff like that, and instead of the you know, the face. Yeah, like, and that's the point, is like, if you are that style of vocalist, then you have to learn the other way. And if you learn the other way, you may not, like, that may not be your main thing, so, like, it just doesn't, so, like, that's the point, like, if I get that fixed, yeah, it just, you know, sound like I used to again, versus the way it sounds now without that, angling the audio in one direction, versus it's sort of kind of going out. If that makes sense. Just like Freddie Mercury. A lot of the way he sounded could actually be attributed to just the fact that he had such a massive jaw. Like he had one big mouth, man. But that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Steven Tyler. Perfect example, Steven Tyler. So. It'd be nice. I can't believe, you'd actually, sit here and do that and think I'm not going to notice that that's, a pattern. It reminds me of all the times it happened in the past, remember? Remember there was times where, we would have a big release. There'd be a bunch of people there waiting. Remember that? Big release. Bunch of people waiting. I remember a couple times. It was actually even a couple times where I couldn't even go live. All these people waited and I couldn't go live because the power went out. All of a sudden, right as I was about to go live, or sometimes even right as I went live, right after that. Right as you would see just how many people are in that stream and are having a good stream. I remember it happened too, some of those times that we were getting a lot of people watching and stuff, back when we used to play some of those competitive online games and stuff too. A lot of people were watching. I remember it happened a couple times then too. We're yeah, you could arguably say it's the same sort of thing where conveniently you see that pattern happen right as we're trending. Can I be honest with you? It's YouTube, but it's also Trump. And he's also doing it to people that like him. You know that, right? There's a certain streamer that it's the same sort of thing that's actually happening to him, and he knows. He knows what I sort of kind of subliminally tried to tell him over the years and get across to him why the things were happening. He got it. And he made some changes. And you've noticed it. And he's getting views again. They've locked his subscriber count, though. Notice that. He's getting the views, but they lock his subscriber count. Isn't that fascinating? I noticed that. Now, he might have some bots and stuff, but he's allowed to do that. To a degree. So, here's what's weird. That guy obviously likes Trump, doesn't talk about him. Yet everything, like the whole point is that the cancel rhythm really is real. That's real. And it is designed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That is designed, and it is to cancel you. And he's no exception. Except he's just started doing the complete polar opposite to trick the thing. That's what you do. That's what a lot of people have happened. So it's not that you don't see it. It's that, just like all these other people, where, clickbait, the whole thing where like everybody just started randomly doing clickbait, that's when it happened. They started picking up the fact that everybody was just doing clickbait and doing things that were not an example of what the thumbnail had, or whatever. And some people were threatening to sue, or yada yada yada, and the butt end of a joke, or and it was so stupid and petty and whatever. So all they started doing was creating a cancel rhythm for people who started doing this. And people didn't know why it happened. They just knew they were getting canceled and didn't know why. So they started doing everything opposite. And it tricked it. And everybody knows it too. Everybody knows it. You think that's by accident? You know they could fix those things, right? Like, this is the point. Like, everybody thinks this is by accident. You don't know how coding it works. This is why, like, I wanted to, like, kind of remind you guys, like, of some of the pen testers and stuff on here that have channels. You have to understand, they know how it works, too. They just can't say certain things. It'd be like somebody that works for, the Department of Defense, or something like that, giving secrets away. They can't do it. They want to. Like, they want to, but like the moment they do, it gives it to the wrong people. Does that make sense? So it's by design. It is. Scammers know it. Smart people know it. Like with that type of thing, smart with that thing. And obviously, certain folks at the company know it. Certain ones. They're good. They're going to have figured it out. But the whole point is, this takes advantage of people. And that's been my point. Is all along the way, they're just going to take advantage of who knows how many people that believe in something, something like that. They maybe want to use the platform for what they believe they can use it for, and know that the definitively what they see is interference, especially coming from X amount of time seeing views and whatnot and all that. The people should feel like they can. That's all I'm saying. People should feel like they can feel safe to drive down the road. Like that people are going to respect the fact that other people want to go the speed limit and want to not feel harassed, not want somebody swerving around behind them trying to pressure them to drive faster. Just like somebody's going to want to use this platform to play video games and talk about certain things and just, maybe try to give a much more positive, creative take on gaming, on modern gaming, instead of what the negative take that's there and where we could go with it versus where we're going. Maybe some people want to do stuff like that, but they aren't even given a chance. Like essentially the cancel rhythm just picks up at a certain point. This is it. Like the point of no return, and then they just lock it in. That's it. And we've seen evidence of that plenty of other times, like I said, with other people. We know this. Like, not exclusive. Hell no. Like, a lot of what I've figured out is come from, Reddit threads and like, people going online and talking about their stories and people that have actually done it. And like I told you guys, I already know several people that have actually, unfortunately, been pressured into quitting the platform. So just coming from that knowledge and knowing that firsthand too, versus the ones that I found out about later, it's just it's super obvious, what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with anything that's by accident. That's coincidental. No, orchestrated, designed. Like I said, it's a lot of it's through Facebook and through the other social media platforms that you are tied to because of your information. Like you click on an ad, that's it. Now this ever-learning, malicious AI tool that's a hack now it just learns everything about you, spies on you, that sort of thing, and sends it back to the botnet. And YouTube facilitates this with their cancel rhythm. See? You see this in chat? Do you guys see it? Just the random. And remember how I said we've had interference where it's very obvious they're spiking, they're trying to get the device to use more than it should. Remember that I said that? Remember I said how many times very obviously they're just fucking with the power. I mean, especially when you're doing this, when I'm talking about Trump, I'm talking about politics, that's terrorism. That's why I've said these things. Because it's consistent with terrorist attacks. And the things that are happening, I think this freaking CIA would agree. So, anyway, it's time. We must go. They're really messing around with the device anyway, so. But as you can see, we're able to come back. And unlike the stream that YouTube abruptly ended last night, just for no reason, 13 minutes into the stream, or they just ended it on their side of things. As you can see, power went out in the entire house, literally twice, from these scammers doing this, orchestrating all this, and still we resumed the stream. So, and all the other times we proved that we could too. The hours and hours and hours we suspended it. So. Thanks for watching. Thanks for keeping in touch with what's going on. Appreciate all of you.